Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Always Closing podcast. Today I have one of our escrow officers here at Westlake Escrow on the show with us, and we have a pretty interesting topic that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about online, and I don't think there's a lot of information out there about this topic, so I thought Trish Stuart, our escrow officer here at the office, would be the perfect person to bring in and talk about mobile home purchases. So welcome to the show, Trish.
Thank you, Stefan.
So for people that may not know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and like where you grew up, how you got into the industry? Did you always want to be an escrow officer, or you just kind of fell into it? How that went by?
So I grew up in Arcadia for a majority of my life, and then we moved out to Laverne. And then my grandma started selling mobile homes, and then she got me into meeting her escrow officer, B, who needed an assistant at that time. And so I went.
How old were you at this time?
I was 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you started young.
I did.
Okay. Me too. I mean, I was always around the office with my mom, but
Yeah.
I probably was around escrow since 15 years old, but then probably started working here 19, 20, something like that.
I was always going with her, to pick up her commission checks from escrow and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then having a child, you have to support. So,
Yeah.
I started in that, and it was mobile homes, and I was always told that mobile homes is a specialty, So I'm like, okay, let's try this,
So you actually learned escrow by doing mobile homes first? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I never even knew that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, like you mentioned, though, it's kind of a specialty, right? Because, I mean, we were just talking about this in our meeting the other day, but I thought a lot more escrow companies did mobile homes, and I think we were kind of doing an estimate that maybe 1 out of every 10 escrow companies actually know how to do it with mobile homes.
Yeah, not a lot of escrow companies do it. Not a lot of people do it. Usually real estate is the one that everyone does because it's, I don't want to say easy, but I mean easier than mobile homes usually.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's the same goes with bulk, right? Not a lot of escrow companies know how to do bulk, including us.
Yeah, including us. But yeah.
But it's something that I know we're looking into. We definitely want to learn how to do it, because if we can be that escrow company that knows how to do those specialty things, then we can really focus down on that. So.
Yeah.
So how long overall have you been an escrow officer, been in escrow?
I've been in escrow since 1999, so 25 years. Yeah.
Wow. So would you say you're an expert by this point?
I think so, but of course there's always a learning, you're constantly learning. Things change every single day.
Yeah,
so.
That was actually one of my questions is I've heard my mom say this, that as long as she's been in escrow too, that you're constantly learning something new all the time, right? Because laws change and things like that change, but also you always run into different situations, right? That maybe you haven't seen before. So, how much new stuff are you learning, year by year, would you say?
At least 10%,
Really?
It's, you're constantly, like you said, the laws are changing, especially, in the real estate world, especially with the new laws regarding commission and stuff. It's just a constant change. Every year there's something different that they're throwing in.
What would you say is some challenges about working in escrow? I know we get stressed out here sometimes.
We do.
But I mean, and sometimes we're the ones that take the blame on a lot of the things, but what would you say some of the challenges of working in escrow or being an escrow officer?
I think the number one challenge is the communication.
Okay.
Leaving messages, emails for people, not getting responses back is a big challenge. There's times that, we try to get a hold of agents and it's 2 weeks later they finally return, and you're constantly leaving messages and stuff. So that's one of the challenges with some of the agents or mortgage brokers. You're not getting that communication that you need to have.
What do you recommend that you could do to, for someone that may be having that challenge, to make it easier or to help with that?
I would say keep reaching out, but if you need to get, say, their broker involved because they're not responding, get their broker involved and let them know, I'm trying to get a hold of this agent and they're not responding. And, I know things happen. Maybe there's emergencies with families. They go out of town, but, just to make sure the transaction is going, because if you can't get a hold of those people, you're not able to close your deal.
Normally it's not that you want to take it that far, but a lot of times it's like it could be a matter of losing a deal or deal falling through because you can't get a hold of them. And obviously we don't want to be the ones in that position where they're like, well, why didn't you go the extra mile to get a hold of us or whatever, and this thing fell through, right?
Exactly.
So that makes sense, yeah. What do you love about escrow?
The challenges, helping people, talking to people, making sure that they're getting their home that they want and closing on time. It's just it makes you feel good.
When you could call them and tell them that escrow's closed and the house is officially theirs, or that they sold their house, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so and last question regarding that subject is, would you recommend people getting into escrow if they thought about it? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they think about real estate, right, they think about becoming a realtor or working as a lender. But you don't really hear a lot of people like, I want to be an escrow, or maybe I want to be in title. Like, I feel like those side ones, like, we don't get a lot of love. More like people fall into it, right?
Right, exactly. Like, I've even asked my daughters, I'm like, oh, come on, you can do escrow when you become 18.
Yeah.
So I do recommend it. I mean, it's fun, yeah, you'll have those days that it's hard. You do get people yelling if, it's not going how they want it. But, I mean, it's really rewarding because you get to see, like I said, the people getting their homes, selling their homes, moving on to new things that, they've been wanting to do. So.
Right. And like you said, if you like a challenge, then it's a good industry to work in, right?
Yeah.
Because we constantly got challenges here.
We do.
Putting out fires all the time.
Exactly.
All right, so the main topic for today, which I wanted to make a podcast on this because I feel like there's not a lot of information out there on this. When people make videos or podcasts, it's really about like the big picture about buying a home or a condo or whatever. But you never really hear a lot about actually purchasing mobile homes. And since you learned escrow, doing mobile homes, and you're our specialist here that does that, I thought it would be good. So let's maybe do a podcast on the difference between a mobile home purchase or sale or just buying a regular piece, like single family residence. Because there is some differences, right? There's definitely differences. Definitely. So I think it would be good to put out information on what to expect if you're buying or selling a mobile home. So what are some of the main differences that you would say just between the two?
So between the two, you have real estate, which you have title insurance with. With a mobile home, it's personal property. So you're not going through the title company for any recording, anything like that.
So there's no title insurance on
title insurance.
Okay.
Everything goes through the Department of Housing and Community Development. They have specific forms that need to be signed, and the transfer of the property happens after the close of escrow instead of we fund, record, and then it's in their name. Everything is done after we close escrow.
So what's the main difference between like personal property and real estate though? I mean, when it comes to, is it just mainly who you deal with, like the different departments that you deal with? I know there's some differences with like taxes, which we'll get to that in a minute too. But is that the main difference between personal property and actual real estate? Is just more like the agencies that you deal with?
It's the agencies we deal with, and then it's like mobile homes being personal property. It's like your car. It's a personal property. So everything that's personalized instead of actual fixed property.
Okay. What should like buyers be aware of? Like, let's say if you're gonna, and a lot of like first time buyers will go mobile home, right? Just because they could save obviously on the cost compared to buying a regular piece of real estate. It's a lot more cost effective. But what are some things that they may expect? Because I know there's other things like park fees and maybe associations and things like that they got to pay, right?
Right. So there is space rent when it's in a mobile home park. So They have to get park approved. So one of the things to be aware of, if someone's selling their mobile home and they're like, oh yeah, you can just take, we'll sell it, do this, don't worry, and just move in. You can't just move into a mobile home.
Right.
You have to have the park approval. You don't have the park approval, you're getting evicted out. And now you just purchased a home that you're being evicted. Yeah, exactly.
So when they do the park approval, what is that like? I mean, do they do a background check is it more on you personally, or?
It's your credit. So they're so like if you're getting a loan for a mobile home, they run your credit, they do the same thing because they want to make sure whoever's going in there
is going to pay the park fees and all that.
Fees, yeah.
Oh, got you. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that often happen where someone doesn't get approved and they're in escrow already?
No, they're pretty much all the ones I've had are pretty much they're all getting park approved. Some of them aren't buying because they're strict. Some of the parks are strict when it comes to animals. You can only have, it's kind of like an apartment. You can only have 2 dogs, 2 cats.
Right.
You can only have certain breeds of dogs in there. So that's only one issue that buyers would have if they go in there and then they're told, oh yeah, you can't have that dog. That will make your deal fall through.
How, from what you've seen, how big is the actual park space rent compared to the mortgage? Is it like significant, or is it just like another small fee that you have to pay on top of your mortgage?
It depends on the park you go to. So I know there is one in Orange County where the space rent alone is over $2,000 a month.
Wow.
So on top of that, you have your mortgage, and then of course your insurance and that. But
everything else is kind of similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Purchasing home, do you have mortgage insurance, all that sort of things? The same thing on the mobile home.
Right. So you'll have your regular mobile home insurance.
Okay.
And then, if the property is on taxes, you have your taxes that you have to pay. Not all mobile homes. A majority of them are on
that like a regular home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but a majority of them are on local property tax now. It's very few that are on registration.
Got it. Okay. How about on the seller side? Is there something different that they need to know about? They've obviously, if they own the property, they've already gone through the buying side, but on the selling side, is there something that they may really need to look out for that may be different than selling a regular property?
Not really. If they have a loan, that's just, they need to make sure that we have that information up front. They have a title that the lender would give them to the mobile home that's 8.5 by 11 paper. Right. But if they don't have a loan on it, they just need to make sure that they do have their original certificate of title and their original registration card. That way they're not having to pay fees to get duplicates on those for closing.
Okay. What are some of the challenges, would you say, people could maybe expect when buying a mobile home? Because buying a regular piece of real estate has its challenges, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you're in escrow, like the lender needs this or that or whatever, right? Is there some type of challenges that you've seen with mobile homes?
Not really. The only challenge I can think of is, again, it's just getting park approved. Okay. I know for loans, because a lot of them have been all cash, there's very few that I've seen that are going with lending. But there's only certain lenders that lend on mobile homes. You just can't go to any lender like you can on a residential.
Okay, I didn't know that. So you would say that the majority of mobile homes are all cash?
That I've been
and why
seeing,
is that? Is that meaning people that are retiring and they just
they
can
they're
do it
either
all
inheriting
cash?
Money or they're retiring. They sold their regular home to go into something smaller, and they use it for their retirement.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. You get paid off home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say is maybe some tips to have a smoother closing when it comes to purchasing a mobile home? Or just tips in general, I guess, right?
Right.
It's not too much different than buying a regular home, right? So what are some tips as an escrow officer that you would say really helps a smooth transaction?
I would say when you go on your listing, make sure you're getting all the information about the mobile home, the decal number, because that's how any escrow officer who's doing mobile homes is going to be able to get your title search.
Okay.
Make sure
that's like a registration number of the home, or?
Yeah, so it's a decal, and then I'll say, let us know if it's on local property tax. You can really tell just by the decal number if it is going to be on local property tax or registration. Anything that starts with an L, automatic tax. That property or that mobile home's on local property tax.
Got it.
you need to make sure that when you're taking measurements of the home, that you're disclosing the right size of the home. You know, if you're measuring it and it's a 24 by 60, and then say you put on there it's only a 24 by 56, you know, or vice versa, you're saying it's bigger and it's actually smaller, you're going to have issues. So, you know, you need to make sure that measurements are right when you're measuring the home.
So when you measure it, I mean, how do you get the official measurements? Do they send somebody out to verify what you're saying, or?
No, like when I was, because I sold mobile homes too back in the day, but when my grandma and I would go, she would have the little walking stick and walk it down, and then write it, and then this, and make sure, you know, it was right. So you just.
And is that just the interior space? Because a lot of them have like the canopy that comes off the side, right? And
yeah, they have like a cover. So they have the carport, but they just do the main mobile home. So just the outside, you know, go one side to the other. And then if it has, say, you know, it has a porch, but then an addition, then you add that as the third amount.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. We had mentioned taxes a couple times. So why don't you explain to us a little bit, what's the difference on paying taxes on a mobile home?
So the taxes is the same. It goes through the same thing. So LA County tax collector, Orange County tax collector. The only difference is they have a mobile home division. Okay. So when we go, I have to request a tax clearance or conditional tax clearance and collect those funds at closing. But I need that tax clearance in to close as well. So if that doesn't come in, it's going to hold up our closing. So we need to request that right away. And then I know that they'll sometimes give just an estimate of what the next year is going to be that we have to pay. So it's kind of different when compared to real estate, because real estate, they have amount and it's the exact amount. With mobile homes, they'll estimate you know, the beginning of the new year of what it needs to be.
Do you deal with, because I heard this from somebody, I don't know if it was true or not, that you deal with like the Department of Motor Vehicles when it comes to mobile homes, or is that more just like if it's
when they're really old, we were dealing with the Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay. It's very rare, but yeah, if they're really old and they're on those records, it's like a little card like that, you know, that it has to be done. But I haven't seen one with DMV for a long time. Okay.
But with the taxes, so are you paying like the county taxes like on a regular house, or are you just getting like a personal property bill that you pay every year? It's because, for example, like I get a personal property tax bill for like my boat. You know, it comes every year, and I got to pay whatever it is, right? Is it something similar with that, or is it like something that's working to the loan, just like on a regular piece of real estate?
So it's unsecured.
Okay.
Because it's personal property, but it's still on the tax roll of the regular tax collectors.
Got it. So then you pay that bill once a year, but you can also impound it if you want. Okay. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. And then recording is similar as well, or is that a little bit different also?
So there is no recording. Okay. So like, for real estate, you know, we go through title, we have the grant deed. There's no grant deed. There's just a certificate of title on the back side. Escrow signs off for the seller, signs for the buyer, and then we just send that along with the registration card, the designation of co-owner terms if there's on there. So all that paperwork goes directly to Department of Housing, and they do the transfer there, and then they'll send out the new certificate of title and registration card to the buyers after close of escrow.
And I'm guessing probably the parks as well, right? They have to have that information, or not really?
No, they don't go to the parks, no, just the client.
Oh, got you. Okay, all right. Now, how can, I think I've seen this before, like a couple times, I think in Riverside or something, where you can have a mobile home and then you can convert it into a fixed structure, right? And then does it change once that happens?
It does. So if you have a mobile home and you put it on permanent foundation, it's going to revert back to real estate. And so no longer it's going to be personal property. You'll have to get still a title search just to show that it's been put on permanent foundation and show that there's a 433A on that title. So
then once you do that, that's it pretty much forever, or can you revert it back to like moving it again, or once it's on permanent foundation, that's it? Okay. Any other tips on dealing with like the parks that you've seen? Maybe have you had any challenges with them that maybe people can get a tip or two from?
Don't make your park manager mad. Make sure you're following the rules. Don't try to go and do anything that will cause you ultimately to get evicted out of the park.
Are the park managers like Karens, kind of like to complain about everything?
No, not really. It's just they're very particular though, because you have people in there, especially like at the senior citizen parks. They want to be there. They don't want to have
rowdy
5-year-old kids running around. Teenagers over there. Yeah, you'll have grandkids and stuff come over, but they have a very specific policy of not having them there for a long period of time.
Oh, got you. It's supposed to be a retirement community, keep it calm and comfortable.
Yeah.
Nice, okay. Is there anything else that maybe we didn't touch on that you could think of that maybe the difference between the two, between the mobile home and a regular real estate purchase?
Just that, again, they're just the personal property. You're not going to have a title company involved unless it's on permanent foundation.
Now, how do people feel like secure about that type of purchase then if there's no title insurance? I mean, because when you purchase a home, right, you have title insurance to have that peace of mind.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you have that peace of mind if you're buying a mobile home then?
To be honest, you won't have a peace of mind like that. I mean, it's like when you buy a car, like you're not going to, you just know you have it. You have a warranty on it.
Right.
You can buy a buyer's home warranty with a mobile home.
Okay.
I would suggest making sure you keep renewing it because, you never know when the dishwasher is going to go out, seeing any of those problems. A lot of people don't get termite on it. Get termite when you're buying just to make sure. I mean, people think there's no termites in mobile homes. There's termites in mobile homes. They do not leave let those
So do you
go.
recommend also getting like a home inspection when you're purchasing the same way you would as a regular house?
Right. Home inspection, make sure everything's good, just to make sure, there's no electrical issues or anything like that.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. A lot of good tips from Trish on purchasing or selling a mobile home. Just the last couple of things I'd like to run through with everybody. A couple of just more personal things about you. We could run through a few of them. Like, what's your favorite restaurant?
Wood Ranch.
Wood Ranch? I know that because I always hear you say that. You go
I love Wood Ranch.
You go to the one in Chino Hills?
We were going to the one in Chino Hills. Now we go to the one in Dos Lagos in Corona, just because it's closer to us.
That was closer to you? Mm-hmm. Nice. That's like a newer mall, kind of, right?
Yeah, the outside, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How about your favorite music?
I like country. I like all of it, but yeah, right now it's country.
And I already know you know the answer to this, but your favorite place to go vacation?
Oh, it's Vegas. I miss Vegas. I tell my husband all the time, Vegas is calling me. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. It's been a year.
Where do you like to stay at?
I like staying at the Trump Hotel.
But there's no casino there, right?
There isn't, which is nice.
Nice.
The rooms are very nice. Cool. They're all like suites, so yeah.
Nice.
And it's a little bit off the strip, so you can see things on the strip, but it's not like you're right on there. So it's kind of
But is it still walking distance to go to everything, or you got to take a cab just to?
No, walking.
You can walk it.
Yeah, and they have free valet, so that's nice.
Oh, nice.
I don't have to pay for
cool.
valet.
One place that you want to go vacation to that's not Vegas.
It's not Vegas. Well, I do want to go to Alaska, but that's just because my daughter's, in the Air Force, and that's where she's stationed. So,
yeah, thanks to your daughter for her service. Your daughter's in the Air Force, right? Air Force, right?
Air
She's
Force,
been there for what, maybe 6 months or so?
Yeah, she finished basic training back in July, so yeah.
Nice. You should go. Jamie's brother was stationed there for a while too, and he kept telling us to go. And we were like, yeah, we're gonna go, and now he's back somewhere else now. Like, dang it, we never went.
Yeah, I probably
So
wouldn't go
maybe
right
go
now.
before she gets transferred somewhere else.
Yeah, I think she's going to be there for like 3 years. But I mean, like right now, like yesterday was -18 during the day.
like,
I'm like,
I'll wait till the
I'm like,
summer.
I can't even think what -18 is. So.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Trish, for all the information. It's the first time doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do many more. But thanks again, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. I hope there was a lot of good information if you're thinking about buying or selling a mobile home. Remember that we specialize in that here at Westlake Escrow. I know a lot of escrow companies don't do it. So if you're thinking about buying or purchasing, reach out to us if you have any questions regarding mobile homes. See you on the next one.